Classwork 19. Let's see the first one. So we have square root of x plus 6 multiplied by multiplication, square root of x minus 6. Because both under the same sign of square root, so we can put them together. So we have x plus 6. When we multiply binomial, we put a parenthesis around them, all right? So multiply those two. And we see these two are difference of two squares, right? Got x squared minus 6 squared. Because 6 times x, 6x. X times negative 6x, negative 6x. So they cancel to be 0. Well, that's just square root of x squared minus 36. And that's it. We cannot simplify further. Sometimes people make mistakes saying, okay, they break this one into square root of x squared minus square root of 6 squared. No, we cannot do that. So the square root of x squared minus 36. Let's see 2. We want to simplify. So square root of 50. 50 can be written as 25 times 2. So that can be read as square root of 25 times square root of 2. Well, square root of 25 is 5, right? Because 25 is 5 squared. Square root cancel each other. So that's 5 radical 2, or 5 square root of 2. So square root of 50 simplified to be 5. This is 5. Square root of 2. Well, this is multiplication, right? 5 multiplied by square root of 2. Or 5 of square root of 2. Well, now let's see B. B, 250 can be written as 125. Well, 125 is 5 cubed multiplied by 2. So 250 is 125 times 2. And 125 is 5 raised by 3. Then y raised by 3. Now 5 raised by 3, 3 cubed, so that becomes 5. Y cubed, cubic root becomes y. But we still have cubic root of 2. So 2 still inside the cubic root sign. So B simplified to be 5y cubic root of 2. C, we have outside, right? So this is multiplication. So we would multiply 10 with 4. So get a 40. Then cubic root sign. Cubic root of 16. Well, 16 is 2 raised by 4. Multiplied by cubic root of 2. So all under index 3, we can put them together. Now 2 raised by 4, we can split into 2 raised by 3 and 2. So 2 raised by 3, then index 3, that becomes 3. 3 times 40, 120. Then we have a cubic root of 2 times 2, which is 4. To get a 120 cubic root of 4 for C. Now let's see 3. 3 we want to add. We want to add radicals. Right? When we add radicals, we need like radicals, which means the index is the same and the radicands are the same. So that means we need to simplify. So let's simplify this. Right, 5x cannot be simplified. The radical of 5x that cannot be simplified any further. But 45x cubed and the square root sign can be simplified. So that's simplified to be 9 times 5 x times x squared. Right? So 9, square root of 9 is 3. 3 times 8, 24. Then x squared square root becomes x. So inside we still have 5x. Inside the square root sign, we still have square root of 5x. Then plus square root of 5x. So we have like radicals now. So we factor 24x plus 1 radical 5x. Where does this 1 come from? We just imagine this plus 1 times this. Okay, let's say B. 81, this is a cubic root. So the index is 3. When index 3, we're looking for the exponent to be multiples of the radicand. So 81 is 3 raised by 4. So we want to write as 3 raised by 3, which is 27 times 3. X raised by 4, we want to write as x times x raised by 3. And cubic root. Now minus 24, we want to write as 8. Number 8, which is 2 raised by 3. Right, then times 3, because 3 times 8 is 24. And the number 8 is 2 raised by 3, x. Now, those guys raised by 3 comes out. So I have 3x outside the cubic root. But we still have a cubic root of 3x. Then minus this one, 2 comes out. 2 cubic root of 3x. Okay, we have like radicals. That means we can factor out the like radicals. So I have 3x minus 2 radical 3x. That's for B. 4, we want to simplify this. The numerator is under square root sign, the denominator is under square root sign. So we can put them together under 1 square root sign. So 50x raised by 5 divided by 2, x raised by 3. Now we do 50 divided by 2, we get 25 under the square root sign. X raised by 5 divided by x squared, which is 5 minus 3, which is the x cubed in the denominator. Now it becomes x squared. Or 25x squared, let's just square root to the 5x. Right? Because 25 is 5 squared. 5 squared square root is 5. X squared square root is x. So square and square root are opposite operations that undo each other. Now let's say 5. We want to rationalize the denominator. So which means we want to make the denominator a rational number. So how do we do this? We have 2 terms. So we want to multiply by its conjugate by using difference of 2 squares. So we multiply by square root of 6 minus 1 in the numerator and in the denominator. For the full expression, we can only multiply by 1. And 1 is a transformer, is anything divides itself. So difference of 2 squares tells us the denominator we get square root of 6 squared minus 1 squared, right? Because the 2 middle term canceled, you see this multiply those two positive square root 6, multiply these two negative square root 6, so that had to be 0. And the numerator we just have 15 times square root of 6 minus 1. The denominator, square root of 6 squared is 6. 1 squared is 1. So we get 6 minus 1 in the denominator. So 15 square root of 6 minus 1. Well, 6 minus 1 is 5. Well, 5 goes into 15 3 times. Why we can do this cancellation? Because 15 multiplied by square root of 6 minus 1. Right? You see, 15 is a factor in the numerator. That's why we can perform consolidation. So in the end, we get 3 times radical 6, radical 6. I don't want that. I want my pencil back. Yeah. So square root of 6 minus 1. And that's it. Right. So this is a process of a rationalize the denominator. We multiply by the conjugates of the denominator. Because square root of 6 is irrational number. Add 1 is still irrational number. We want to make the denominator a rational number. So we multiply by, so it's conjugate, which means this square root of 6 plus 1 and square root of 6 minus 1 are conjugating each other. So let's see B. B, we want to multiply square root of 7 plus square root of 3 by using the difference of two squares. And of course, we do the same in the numerator. Basically, we multiply by 1, but this one is square root 7 plus 3 divides itself. So right away, the denominator, we get the first one square, which is 7, minus the second one square, which is 3. Numerator will have 12 times square root 7 plus square root of 3. Well, 7 minus 3, that's 4. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So we have 3 square root of 7 plus square root of 3. And that's it. So that's all for classwork of 19.